essentially what you are helping is to build a perception, right? Like if I want to be perceived in a way, you come in and you help me execute that with the way I present myself online, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. And once you are building your perception, there are four parts of it, right? Um, Brand as a symbol, like what kind of colors, fonts, logos should come into their minds when they are imagining your brand. The second part is a brand as an organization.
So,
Yeah.
hello everyone. I'm so excited to have Rana with us today. And he's a brand mentor. As I was reading his bio, he says he's working with empathic women entrepreneurs or something like that. It's so interesting. And especially with the branding aspect of the business. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your origin story? How did you get into brand mentorship? And let's just get from there and then we can go further.
Thanks for having me on your podcast, Yomi. I am so excited to be here. And a bit about myself. I'm Rana. I'm brand mentor, and my origin story is a bit interesting because um, I am an engineer, basically an electrical engineer, and so
Yeah, that's
once.
good.
Yeah, well, in between my degree, I was in third semester. I was sitting idle, and my dad asked me to do some course and do something with my life. Like I was free sitting idle for 3 months. So I randomly went to an institute. They were offering short courses. Um, I it was a random selection, but I enrolled myself into a graphic design course, and that's when I discovered that this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life, right? Um, and after but I completed my engineering degree because I didn't want to leave that. But right after that, I established my own branding consultancy. Um, at first, I used to work with a lot of lifestyle and e-commerce brands for creating their social media content and managing their social media. But the problem with that was only creating content for them. Just I was just a user, right? I was just creating pretty graphics for them, but I felt like I have to add more value in these brands. I can add more value, right? So that's where I started to learn the strategic side of branding. And once I started to learn that, my existing clients used to tell me that you can offer coaching as a standalone service as well. So then I thought, what is that niche that I would love to work with when it comes to as a coach and building their brands? So from the start of my career, I have been working with a lot of great women entrepreneurs, and it has all been a wonderful experience working with them. Every new project is a new challenge, so I decided to completely serve female entrepreneurs, female experts who are led by purpose, build strong online brands so that they can stand out in a saturated market, attract more premium clients, scale their business, and more fun stuff. So this is a bit about me.
Yeah, but it's lovely to hear that you have completed your degree, that
Yeah.
you went and finished. I also finished my law degree. And for me, it was like I just finished it because I started, and also because of my parents, right? They were like, well,
Yeah.
you wasted all your time. You at least finish it. So I finished it, and I never worked a day in my profession either. So it's just so funny how we do
Yeah.
things for our parents, yet we don't care too much about that, right?
Yeah, and it's also a matter of luck, right? For some people, talent discovery and their passion discovery comes very early in their career, and it's all the natural progression. And for the people like us, um, we get the right thing at the wrong time, but we make it right. So it's like that. It's also a matter of luck.
Yeah. I think determination as well. And you have to be, brave as well to go
Yeah.
after. the graphic designs, and then, growing yourself out of that into becoming a brand mentor. I really want to clarify this one for the listeners, because initially when we had our conversation, I even had this, problem when I thought that branding really is just about colors and, colors and brand colors, logos, like that's branding. But you kind of told me that's not just that. Can you tell the listeners what you mean by that?
Yeah, so that is the general perception, right? The colors, fonts, the visual part, the fun part, that is all branding. While I would like to explain that by that traditional iceberg picture, where the tip of an iceberg is on the top of the surface, while the foundation, the bigger foundation is at the bottom of surface, right? So when it comes to branding, what people see is that tip of the iceberg, which is their logo, fonts, colors, and but they don't see the internal work, that is done before um, going towards the external brand, and that is your mission, vision, purpose, target audience, brand story, your origin story, your brand archetype, your brand DNA, um, finding that competitive advantage in the market, how you can stand out as an expert, like um, as a gold brick among other red bricks, is your positioning. That all comes before you dive into the visual part. So branding is really like shaping the perceptions of people about you. It's how people think, feel, and like for example, if Domi's face comes on social media, what would I feel, think, and and what would I imagine? What is she offering, right? What are
Mm-hmm.
her professional capabilities? These are a set of associations that I would associate with you, and that is branding. That is where branding comes in, so that the way I think about you is same as the way you want me to think about yourself. It is just that gap bridging, and that is where the branding comes in.
Yeah, I love that I mean, it was so many informations, and there's so many interesting things that you just said.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go into like everything, because your triangle is massive, and I have no idea what's a brand archetype and none of that. But what I have understood is that um, essentially what you are helping is to build a perception, right? Like if I want to be perceived in a way, you come in and you help me execute that with the way I present myself online, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. And once you are building your perception, there are four parts of it, right? Um, Brand as a symbol, like what kind of colors, fonts, logos should come into their minds when they are imagining your brand. The second part is a brand as an organization, like what kind of culture should people imagine when they think about your organization, right? What kind of employees, how to live, breathe in that organization, what's your company culture? That's where employer branding comes in. So the third part is brand as a product, right? What kind of services, products should come into their minds when they imagine your brand? And the fourth part is a brand as a person, right? So that is where personal branding comes in. So these are like four areas where you shape the perceptions of the people. What people think is only that one area, and that is brand as a symbol. That is your visual identity.
Mm-hmm. That's so interesting. But what you're saying is that essentially, in order for you to determine like all those four, key branding pillars, you need to kind of sit down with the person and define that. What do I want my culture to be? What do I want my perception to be?
Yeah.
And that has to be defined. Do you think? And what do you think is the biggest mistake when it comes to branding, especially in your clientele that you see entrepreneurs make?
Um, I think the biggest, because branding is all about the long-term game, right?
Mhm.
And um, it's like, because you are shaping the perception and you can't just shape their perceptions in one day. So people think that it's a short-term game, and when they invest in branding, like they can get immediate short-term deliverables, but you have to cultivate it by yourself, and you have to live and breathe your brand. So thinking it like a short-term game is a really big mistake. So other, like, biggest mistake that I would consider is jumping straight into the visual part again, right? Having a website. I've seen so many people investing in a logo and a website, right? But that is just sitting idle, like a Mona Lisa painting, and doing nothing in their business. They don't have any idea, like, how are they going to um, how are they going to convince the strangers that just entered into their world and convert them into excited buyers? They don't have any idea about their customer journey. They are not clear about their functional, emotional, and experiential benefits about the offer, the target audience, and they just jump straight away towards the fun part, which is the website and the logo, and then they start complaining, branding people, that hey, you built a website, but that has done nothing for me in the next for the last 5 years.
Wow, that's incredible. And you were talking about logo website. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think any entrepreneur who ever started a business first tried to figure out a name and then bought the domain name and then started to jump ship on website building and then either designed the logo on Design Hill or had someone on Fiverr design logo for them. Like that's how I think. And then they have name and they have website and logo and they are like done, right? So nothing else, but that's like the first, what I see entrepreneurs do all the time. They just grab this ABC name, logo, website, and then just
Yeah.
run with it. Yeah, that's very common, honestly.
Yeah, and that is also to do something with the employee mindset, right? So a
Mhm.
lot of entrepreneurs are coming from the background where they have been in corporate jobs and they idolize their bosses. They have the fancy offices, they have the secretary, right? And they do all the fun stuff, and they idealize that. So when they start their own business, they start with doing the things that they idealize about their bosses, getting the nice office, getting a
Mhm.
nice website, while all they need is getting clear on the target audience, how they are going to convert strangers into buyers, what is their funnel look like, need lead nurturing funnel. And like, even if you are not giving them 100% bespoke visual experience, you can still work it out at start. um, j- in starting, one has to really focus on offer and how they are going to nurture their leads and things like that. But if you are just investing in a website or logo without investing in foundations first, without getting clarity on the foundations, then it's just waste of money.
Yeah, I mean, I love that you say that so honestly because um, I see like, I don't want to shit on like website builders and web designers, but they're not going to dig into like, hey, like, do you have buyers? Like, who do you serve? Like, they're just like, oh, you want this color? Do you like this color? Oh, do you want this image? Do you like this image? Like, they're not really, and I don't know the type of web designers that you know or you do as well, but like, I just see them as they just serve what the client likes, you know, the colors, oh yeah, just build some website. Yeah, I like this color or that color, and there's nothing deeper than that than just like surface level, like looks, right?
Yeah,
But
100%. 100%, you're right. I mean, most of the web designers are like that.
mhm,
And very few focus on the real part, like how that website can actually sell for you, right?
mhm,
And your website as a whole, it is also a problem at the part of the clients, right? So they're always focused on the macro results. Like, I want my website to bring leads on bed. That is their mindset, right?
Mhm.
I They would say, I want to make money with Facebook ads, right? So they are not focused on the micro results, like what part of their website is not converting.
Mhm.
Is there a problem in the lead magnet? Is there a problem in the landing page? What is the problem within the website, within their branding, that can be solved? So I think focusing on the micro problems, both on the branding experts and the client's end, um, is the best way to get predictable results.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think just to ask you this question, because I see that very often, and maybe you can comment something on that. I see entrepreneurs with no websites, zero, branding. They just grab their phone or a camera, not even like camera, like a phone. They sit down, they ramble, they put their videos on YouTube, and the only way to connect them is an email address. That's it. There's no, and they are selling at workshops. They are, full, blown private clients. They make so much money, and they have none of that. They have no logo, no website, nothing. It's just a phone and themselves, their authentic self, and that's enough for people to connect.
Yeah, I mean, the proven methods exist to get predictable results to most of the
Yeah.
people, right? So I have also seen people like brand designers building their
Mhm.
six-figure businesses without any marketing strategy. They just
Mhm.
started posting on social media, and that's where they got started getting inquiries, and they are multi six-figure businesses. But that doesn't mean that marketing doesn't work or Facebook ads doesn't work.
Mhm.
Same is the case with branding, right?
Mhm.
It might be like some person had been putting videos on YouTube and
Mhm.
they got success like that, but that shouldn't be the proving point that branding doesn't work. It is just to get you predictable results. I mean,
Mhm.
just think, they did all that without getting clear on their foundations. Imagine how much money more they could make while
Mhm.
building their brand properly. So that's the point. Like, they did the thing improperly. Imagine how far they would go if they do build their brand properly.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But I think what I was trying to go with is that sometimes when you have your definiteness in you, like the type of person that you are, the type of clientele you want to talk to. So, because I don't think it's like people talking about shit and getting views. Like these people have their foundations, like who they are and who
Yeah.
they serve. So I think that's where they're coming from with success. That the reason why they sell out is because they know and they work out the foundations of who they sell,
Yeah.
serve, what they say, the way they say it, and then whoever resonates is going to find and share their content. So that is a strong foundation there. But just
Yeah.
like you said, um, branding can enhance results. On
Yeah.
the contrary, and then maybe you can come here and give me your opinion in this one, but you can have, and this is what I see as well, you have the most beautiful branding. You have beautiful, I mean, branding, I mean colors, you have beautiful cover photos. You have amazing website, and yet when I see a video of this person talking, she is like reading out a script and I have no idea what she's saying, and I have no
Yeah.
idea how this person, have all this fluff yet very little personality. That's
Yeah.
also something I see all the time.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Like, getting clear on the foundations is must. Otherwise, and once you're clear on that, you can get pretty good results. And again, if someone's making a pretty clear on the message and and their overall positioning and target audience. They are good in one of those four areas which we talked about earlier, right? Which is brand is a person. They might have a strong personal brand, or like a brand as a product, they might have very strong products. So out of these four areas, they already have very two strong areas. That's why they are successful. You also said something else. Can you say that again?
Yeah, so I was asking you about the opposite. When I see very strong, designs, websites, beautiful cover images, photos, and I see a person who comes and shows up in her videos with like reading a script and like a very almost like this person have no personality, just reading something out, and there's
Yeah,
so much around her that looks beautiful, but she's not it. She's not living up to her
yeah.
branding.
So the point is, the you know a very important role of branding people is to increase the perceived value of your product. You have a strong brand when people are paying you a premium without any objections, and people see you as the only option, while there are thousands of other options in your industry, right? You are being seen as the only one. But what if your messaging, like you said, that they are just reading the scripts, is crappy? You are not adding a dime of value, and you are saying that visual branding would amplify your current script. That's gonna not gonna happen if aren't already providing your content is very surface level. You're just a quote expert. What I say, they're just posting quotes on social media. So that's now not how it works, right? You have to be very clear at the value you provide. You have to be damn good at what you do. Then visual branding can surely amplify your message and get you greater results.
Yeah, that's I agree with you on that. What kind of questions would you ask your clientele when it comes to figuring out their voice? Because, and maybe you can correct me on this as well, but what I see online especially is I see like one person, saying I help XYZ, and like 2 months later I do this, and again, like switching and turning and changing their niche every other day, changing who they serve every other day. And there's so much confusion, around what they do. What is your methodology of finding out um, like questions about them to be able to build a strong branding or perception?
So the first is the way I started, because there are a lot of industries. There are a lot of people. Sorry about that. There are a lot of people in the industry that start with why. Right? There is a general perception. And am not in 100% agreement with that. I start with who all the time, like
Mm-hmm.
getting clear on their target audience, and then we dive into the purpose. And so the first thing is to get clear on who you want to serve, right? Knowing them better than they know themselves. And then finding your transformation statement. And that is the bigger transformation statement from the point A to point Z. And then once you have that bigger transformation statement, you can just divide that transformation statement into smaller transformations, and those smaller transformations become your offers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is how I proceed when I am starting my branding projects. There are a lot of like experts who are already clear on their transformations and their offer. So we don't dive deep into that part once if they are clear on that. But that's how I would start if people are not clear on the transformation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Thanks so much for sharing that. You were mentioning that essentially branding is a long-term game. You said it helps you get predictable results. But when you say long-term, how fast, they can see results? when you have, came, you do your magic, you define their goals, their audiences, everything. Like, how fast do you feel like it takes for them to start seeing or attracting clientele in their business?
So it also depends on the client, the level of action that they are taking to promote and to build their brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like my last client was a copywriter, because a lot of the branding transformations are inner as well. Clients start feeling more confident. They start feeling that they are worthy of more high level clients. So once I worked with her, she wasn't feeling that confident pitching to big podcast. She wanted to pitch to Amy Porterfield as a client. She wasn't feeling confident enough, but after I worked with her on her rebrand for 40 days and revamped her website, she started feeling more confident. She took the action, massive action, and within just 2 weeks, she signed a 1-year contract with Amy Porterfield. She has been featured in some amazing publications. So it's all while there was a coach that I worked with. It took for her like 2 to 3 months to promote her offer and sell out her signature program after working with me. So it is very much dependent on the level of action that clients take after I do branding for them. Like if everything's if they're not working, if they're just lying on bed sitting there as thinking that their branding would sell for them, that's not going to happen. They have to do the work afterward. They have to put in the effort.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. So it depends on the person and the level of actions that they take after they done the transformation with you, right? I wanted to ask you about something, but I've forgotten, I think. When you were saying about, brandings and then the way they have, premium pricing. That's what I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Because you said that if branding is done right, there will be no objections around the pricing. Can you elaborate a bit more on that?
Sure. So there's a part of my process where I help my clients identify their brand touch points, right? From this is you also know this. There are 5 stages: awareness, interest, desire, call to action, and advocacy, right? So I help my clients map their touch points based on these 5 stages. Like for example, for awareness, what are the platforms they might be using? If they are using Instagram, what kind of posts they are using, like reels or carousel posts or short form videos, something like that. So we will really get clear on that customer journey. And what happened is that before working with me, clients are literally working, jumping on the sales calls with strangers who just enter into their world, right? So if you're just going on a road and ask a stranger, hey, this is my world best offer, buy, pay 5K for it, they wouldn't do that, right? Online work a world works in the same way. Strangers don't pay a premium. So during my branding process, I help my clients create the process so that they can really nurture their leads, and their leads are pre-sold, pre-convinced due to the whole experience that they are giving throughout their customer journey. So that is how I eliminate objections and help my clients charge a premium with confidence.
So essentially, to resume what you were saying, that it's first getting clear on the journey and not expecting to sell right away just because you have an offer, right? And then building that relationship gradually until they get there, right? With their branding, their messaging and everything. Do you think that, because I see it all the time, certain websites and programs, when I see the way the landing page or website is designed, you can already tell if it's an expensive program or if it's a cheap program. And that's usually the way it's organized. If it's like flashy buttons and it looks very salesy. Like, what's your take on that approach to premium? Like, what do you think is necessary, not just like nurturing part, but like look wise to look premium, to sell premium?
Yeah, um, that has much to do with design and also your brand photography, right? Visuals make a great impression.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people invest in a website and rely on design, while they forget to invest in brand photography. And that's why, if my clients don't have brand photography during my rebrand process, I make it mandatory for them to invest in brand photography. And it's you're right. Like, there are certain websites where we land and we feel, oh my god, this expert is really premium. There's no way I'm getting anything like $150 from them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they are experts out there who have great websites. They give the clients an incredible premium experience with the fonts, colors, all the spacing between the text, imagery, and you start feeling like they are like 5K and 10K experts. So
Mm-hmm.
it's all about, if you're giving someone a Walmart experience, they are going to pay a Walmart price. If you are giving someone a Harrods or Cartier experience, they are going to pay a Cartier price.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned brand photography. Do you mind just tell us, a listener, what do you mean by brand photography?
Yeah, so I would again give you an example of my last
Yeah.
client, right? So the copywriter that I worked with. So during my rebrand process, after the brand strategy part, I create a brand direction document so that my clients can hand it over to their brand photographer or marketing specialists, copywriters, and other like specialists, so that they have a kind of cohesive appearance on all their touch points. So in that brand direction document, I also like planned her complete shoot direction, like what kind of patterns can she wear on the shoot. She was scared of smiling, like she wanted to smile, but she said, I don't know if people would take me seriously. I said that smile as hard as you can, and it's my job to that people should take you seriously, or otherwise you can have your money back. So she had like small insecurities whether I should wear pink or not. I love pink, but would I be too girly in pink? So that is where the brand direction came in, and I finalized her. I took out her all insecurities and gave her confidence that go with full authenticity and give this direction to photographer and do your thing. So once she did that, I can see like once she did the shoot, afterwards I felt the transformation. She was feeling more confident in herself, right? So yeah, brand photography also makes two kinds of differences. The one difference is, it tells you story, your values about your company, about your culture, and then the inner transformation, which is you start feeling more confident, more like more you.
Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense. I was noting a couple of things that you were saying. I think you should work with men, because women, we have a lot of, shit, we're overthinking everything. Because if your client is like, oh, I don't know, do I look good when I smile? Like,
Yeah,
oh, what do you think if, I wear pink? Like a
yeah,
guy would be like, fuck me, like, just get me out of
yeah,
this room. Like, they don't care. They're like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? Like, tell me. So I think women especially, they are like overthinking of like, oh, what if I wear this color? Oh my God, what do I think if I wear these shoes? Like, there's so much overcomplication, in the process, as well as you said, lack of confidence as well. Like, yeah, I mean, it's not comfortable to be on photo shoots. I mean, unless
yeah,
you love to be photographed, which is like I don't know how many women, unless you're a model, of course, but like it's not a comfortable process.
Yeah.
But as you were saying that these type of photos, you are able to give them directions on like the type of the photos, how they should look, so they fit in the frame of their branding, the brand directions that you provide, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And what else do you include in this, brand directions? You said colors and fonts. Like, how does it look like? It's like a PDF document, and then you have everything like this is how the photo should look like, or what is it? Just walk me through your process, I guess, to establish this direction.
Sure. So once we have the strategy dialed down, we create two mood board concepts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in those mood boards, I get to like portray what like their branding would feel on their overall touch points. How would their logo look like? How would their website look like? What kind of fonts would we be using? And I also include like brand keywords which represent their brand, right? So based from those two mood boards, client can select one mood board, right? So and now after that mood board stage, me and my client are on the same page, and this is what like goes wrong in so many branding projects. Clients and designers are not on the same page because they are not just creating the direction. So after mood boards, then I do color palette, typography suite, and not just telling them about the fonts, but how those fonts are going to be used in their overall applications, design applications, right? What size are they going to use for headings? What size are they going to use for paragraphs? And small details like that. So typography and their signature brand pattern, like the pattern that they are going to be using on their Facebook cover, on their profile background, on their website, on their clothing, everywhere to make them more memorable. The last client I worked with, her pattern was the green check pattern. So she has used that in her clothing. And website and everywhere. And we use that check pattern because her brand DNA, that is your brand distilled in one word, was quirky. So we wanted her audience to feel a little bit quirky and
Mm-hmm.
professional at the same time. So after patrons, I do a complete photography direction for my clients. And yeah, that's all. That's what
Yeah.
I include in brand direction.
Isn't it? I mean, it's such a deep work to get to that point, because you said, we want them to be memorable. So I guess the
Yeah.
goal is to be showing up online as this person that is just standing out, and then using, the quirky side of the person. I mean, you go so much deeper than just like, hey, what's your target audience? Like, but
Yeah.
it has to be like how you are going to be perceived in the online space, and then that's
Yeah.
very much like a well thought out process, it seems to me, right?
Yeah, and that's a big responsibility.
Yeah.
And a lot of marketing people think that um, they have nothing to do in building a brand, right? While I say that marketing people are equally as important as the branding people when it comes to building the brand. The branding people create the identity, your brand identity, like how you want to be perceived, what kind of associations do you want people to have. And then marketing people really enforce that perception. They
Mhm.
eliminate, they are the protectors of brand identity. They try to eliminate the bad perceptions and enforce the positive perceptions.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It seems to me. Can you tell us, the listeners, how they can work with you, and like what are your availabilities? I think you talked about your process already, but like how they can find you, and what type of projects are you mainly focusing on right now, and how you help them meet your? I think you were
Sure.
saying you're mentoring as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I am both mentoring experts and also doing done for you branding for them. So
Mhm.
um, I have few offers. The first is the Shift Workshop, which is to help you lay the foundations of your brand, get clear on your positioning, target audience, competitors, and how you can stand out and things like that. It's a 3-day workshop. The other one, my signature offer, is a 40-day rebrand experience, which is Stop the Scrolls, to help you, and it is to help you rebrand and launch your website in 40 days. So it is for women entrepreneurs who are already in 2 to 3 years of their business. They have validated their offers, they have super successful offers, but the experience is not that great. The website is still basic, the branding is still basic. And if you want, I have few resources for the audience as well. If the first is the website relaunch checklist, which you can
Mhm.
download it from my website. I think you would mention the link in the description.
Yeah.
And the second is a expert brand workbook, so that you can, like, if even if you are not ready to hire me, you can download that workbook and really see how you can start building a strong, powerful brand.
Yeah. So they can either get the website relaunch checklist, right? Or the expert brand wordbook,
Yeah.
right? Like those are the two that they can get from you for free. And you were talking about your 3-day workshop and the 40-day rebranding. For the 3-day workshop, it's the paid workshop that they can come to.
Yeah, it's a paid workshop.
And for the 40-day, is a 40 days like the done for you type of thing, or like it's consulting, or?
It's more like done with you / done for you, because for the first few days, because my clients have to be involved in the mood boarding process, in the brand direction process, and the first part, which is the brand strategy process. But then whatever comes next, their website, automations, email integrations, that's all done for you.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Okay. Well, I'm going to put everything in the description. If you guys wanted to reach out to Rana and have your branding redone, if you haven't done any branding before, then just, create it for you. I think that's very important, what you do. So I'm going to make sure to include that in the description. Is there anything else, Rana, that you think that we should also cover that we haven't talked about and you'd like to talk about?
I think we have pretty much covered it all. I hope that your audience can take few nuggets out of this conversation and start implementing what we discussed and build a
Yeah.
powerful brand.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time and for being here. I learned so much. I didn't know there's such depth in this whole branding thing. Like I didn't know there's so much, it's so well thought out, process. So I might be hitting you up at some point, to help me out as well. But it's incredible. So thank you so much for everything. And I'm sure it was helpful for the audience as well. And yeah, guys, if you are listening to this one, make sure you check the description for the downloadables from Rana.